G'day, I'm here to reveal a new version of arguably one of the most celebrated freeware routes ever developed for Dovetail Train Simulator series. It was the highly successful Majestic Falls route which was released in early 2014. I'm going to take you back to a different Majestic Falls era, the 1950s. Coming up next. Okay, in this video I'll look back at the work done to convert this route back to the period of the mid-1950s, as well as making it a larger version of the original route. In the early 50s there were steam engines. Diesel was starting to make a real impact on the railroad scene. And there were luxurious passenger trains that covered the United States from east coast to west, and everywhere in between. So let's study the map of both the original Majestic Falls version and the 1950s version to show you some of the major changes. Here we have the original full route main map and the 1950s version. In the new version of Majestic Falls, the main line has been extended, running from Morgan Yard all the way east to Paradise City. About 15 miles of Great Northern Railway main line has been added. There is also a small extension to the logging branch from Wickery Hill. Let's explore these and other changes, covering more detail images from these two maps. So, moving to the more detailed map, both of the west end of the original Morgan Yard and the 1950s version. You should notice here that the changes to the main line heading west, going from double track to single track, adds different operating challenges, and the main is also extended further west. The additional western main continues past the tunnel and into a special feature which will be detailed in a later episode. There is a new siding at the west end of the yard where the new passenger station is located, with the house freight facility a bit further east. House freight means the freight station is owned and operated by the railroad. A little further along is a reefer icing platform. This allows reefers to have ice recharge ready for protecting perishables during the long trip to the east coast. Looking at the eastern end of Morgan Yard shows the changes up close. Here the changes are even more significant. Added is what is called a thoroughfare track, bypassing all track switches leading into the yard sidings. This makes shunting less invasive and was more common when less than carload loss was more common than today's intermodal trains. This makes shunting less invasive and was more commonly seen when less than carload loss was more common than today's intermodal trains. The turntable has been changed to one more typical of the era, and additional tracks outside the roundhouse were added, as well as safety tracks opposite each stall in case of overrun by locomotives. Additional tracks are added in the service area to allow the engine terminal to handle more engines. They take considerably longer to service than diesels do. The coal stage and service equipment was added to support that premise. Following are a couple of short clips to whet your appetite. These changes and more will be covered in detail in part 2. As the route is still being developed, please add any suggestions you'd like, new ideas or improvements. Just include them in the comment section below this video. It's not too late to influence the final route contents. We'll catch up with you then. Okay everyone, you've just seen a train run over the bridge that spans the Morgan River just west of Morgan Yard. Our next video covers what happens when this bridge is washed away in a severe storm. If you'd like to know what does happen, you can catch our next video by subscribing to this channel. Please subscribe, as this is the best way to ensure you don't miss anything. In addition, part 2 of our series on Majestic Falls 1954, which is coming up soon, will cover even more of the changes and additions made to the original Majestic Falls route, the one developed by Mark Howarth, also known as Lieutenant Bligh. Mark has been involved with the project from the very beginning and has provided significant advice, particularly where I may have strayed too far from his original vision. He also told me about a couple of very minor mistakes he made in the original, and I've tried to fix those as well. Part 2 will be loaded into the YouTube channel shortly after the Morgan River Bridge episode is finished. Thru.